I miss you, Zion. My heart's in Zion. My love's in Zion. I miss you, Zion. 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 My heart's in Zion. My love's in Zion. I miss you, Zion. Zion.
I wanna serve Yah and forsake the desires of my heart. Yah gave me the words to magnify and not become rich from this art. Please, Yah, take us home to Zion where we have a fresh start. Babylon so crazy got us thinking we no greater than the other. Yah divided Zion into 12 parts, just a sign of Yah's glory shining through the dark. Sins Yah don't mark. I can't stand with the wickedness. Scorn no longer my counterparts. Those that fear Yah be my companions. Those that fight for Zion be our champions. We soldiers for Elohim, keepers of the city, doormen of the temple, custodians of the Torah, slaves of the Almighty with joy and gladness. Only long for the citadel of strength. Zion, the city that David took, the place that Yah chose. I serve Yah Elohim with fear and gladness and be shook. I wanna go home to Zion.
I miss you, Zion. My heart's in Zion. My love's in Zion.
Praise the mighty Yah. We're here again with our good elder BenYAH from the House of Israel of Cincinnati. This is the message from our elder, our great elder BenYAH. Say shalom to everyone.
Shalom, 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 my people.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
So Elder BenYAH, there's a lot going on in the world, and we came to hear the wisdom from our elder this week.
All right.
And so we want to hear what you have to tell us this week. You know, you mentioned you want to talk about some things going on in Africa, or some things with Africa.
Yeah.
So let us know what's going on, our great elder.
Well, again, praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. And let Yahweh be magnified. And that's what we're trying to do. So what I want to start off, and I wanted to, because I know a lot of you out there in radio land and abroad in the islands and all, there's something that some things you don't know. We're going to correct it, and we're going to start saying, repeating, or saying giving the right terminology to things like about Africa. I'm going to start off with Africa first because, as you know, the continent is called Africa, but they look at us as African Americans and Africans over there and all this stuff. But in essence, that wasn't the first name of the continent. We wanted to know the correct name. And the correct name before it was Africa, Alkebulan. Did I have that right?
Yeah, some people say Alkebulan, some people say Alkebulan.
Well, Alkebulan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I hope everybody heard it. And as you know, if you know the way the Maori pronounced it, it's a beautiful name. It sounds a heck of a lot better than Africa. And I got to tell you, I'm not an African. And I have been telling this to people for the past 15 years, don't call me an African American, because I could never be an African. African, that name, come from a Roman soldier by the name of Scipio Africanus. That's where they got the name from, when they came there and took over South Africa. And they named it after him, just like they did the islands in the sea. All of these saints, St. Thomas, St. Vincent, St. Jerome, St. Simon, St. Petersburg, Florida. And when you hear those about countries being named after saints, you know the Roman Catholic Church has been there, and Spain and Greece. So we must call it now Alkebulan, the beautiful name that it is. We are from the continent of Alkebulan, and while we're on Africa and everything, you know, they got, as you know, Noah and the Ark, you know, he had 3 sons. Ham, Japheth, and Shem. I didn't put it in its rightful place, but Ham is the progenitor of the dark races of Alkebulan. As a matter of fact, I want you, I got,
What scripture want to go? I'll read it for you.
no, you got it, go, just open this page and look for the name, Ham,
Okay.
and then read us what it says. I could read it, but I want people to know that it's in a book, and it's in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, one of the oldest Bible dictionaries it is.
Okay. Under what it says, Ham.
Ham.
It says the youngest of the son of Noah, born probably around 96 years before the flood, one of the 8 persons that lived through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
Not the Negro. I hope you all got that. We are not like the what they would call Africans over the hardcore, Africans.
Right.
But we're not from Ham. But we are from the lineage of Shem. That is the forefather. And so I thought I would lay that all on you, especially the ones that don't know. We got to start correcting things. Praise the mighty Yah, and this is the way you do it. And so, let's see. We want to come up now. I'm going to leave Alkebulan, the beautiful and sacred land of Alkebulan, the continent anyway. We're going to leave it alone right now and come up today. And we just found out today, the Maury and I, that the young man that was shot and killed by a bunch of deputy sheriffs that jumped out of a truck and shot him to death. But the killing came from what they call one kill, which somebody took aim and shot him in the head and killed him. Now the judge and all are saying that there won't be any charges or trial and everything because they found out that they were acting in self-defense, that the brother was trying to run over him with the car, which is totally ridiculous because they were witnesses, and his people, I'm sure, are just livid. And we got people in North Carolina now that are protesting, and I hear this and it just makes me tired all over again because, again, Yah says when you protest, you are really, what's the word? Going against his word, going against him. You are like a child when they can't get their way. And that's the way he sees it. And he talks about that in the book. And it's talked about in Isaiah chapter 30, where he says, my people know, they have no recollection that what they're doing, they're going down, they're marching or protesting and going into Egypt and protesting to Pharaoh. Instead of asking him before they even go and protest, turn and ask him, what should we do? And I know a lot of you say, yeah, but y'all don't talk, but he did talk. He's not talking now because he said he wouldn't until we turn ourselves around. He did talk to his people years ago. He talked to Moses. He talked to the nation of Israel. He talked to his kings, his prophets. He did talk to them. But they decided, like after he gave the laws and the statutes and stuff to Moses, and Moses turned around and gave them to his people, and they in turn were supposed to have been holy to him, to Yah. And we were supposed to go around, our people were supposed to go around and talk to the other nations and tell them about Yah's laws and his judgments and how he's the one and only creator there is. But they failed to do this. Instead, they went and they wanted to be like the other nations, praying to gods made of wood and stone. And that's exactly what we got today. But getting back to it, though, with the killings, though, it's just really sad, and our people have to understand that You have to understand. Just like I tried to tell a young man on the Buzz Radio, Mr. Livingston, I think his name was, that we're not supposed to be trying to be equal to these people here in this country. That's not why we were brought here. We were brought here and changed people, and they killed us on the way here. And when they got us here and everything, they killed more of us. And it's not ended yet. So we have to go do it a different way, and I think I brought that up last week, where if you only, and you will hear from them, because right now I'm with one, a fantastic teacher, Maury Isha, and there's 3 more, and man, are they wonderful. Beautiful, man. And they will give you the truth. And this is what I want all of you to realize, and if you can't be here, then try to get it on your radios and listen to the Saturday broadcast. And they'll tell you what you should be doing. But like I just got to saying, we need to turn back. You need to turn back to y'all. Stop protesting, stop your marching, stop voting, because it's not going to get you anywhere. We've been voting for years. They were voting way before me. I was born. And it ain't getting you nowhere. Look what's happening now. You know, we did have some times in the sun back in the 60s, and I'll get on that later, some other time. But when things were a little bit softer then, back in the 60s, when music was the thing, the Motown sound, the Philadelphia sound, and all those Temptations, Miracles, and the Supremes, and all these others, great singers and stuff. And it seemed like romance was in there. Oh man, it was nothing like it. Black men and black women really respected each other. When a man came to take a young woman out for the evening, he'd come and he would speak to her parents. And when they left out of there, he would go, they would get out to the door, go out the door, and when we got to the car, he would open up the passenger door and let her in. And when she got in, he would close the door. Then he would go and get in. And he probably would have flowers for her, whatever. But anyway, that's the way it used to be. And then as we went on, things started kind of going a little haywire. We got people like President Ronald Reagan. And if it hadn't been for him and his administration, we probably would still have car plants, Chrysler and Ford and all the rest of them. And we made out, we were the makers of Faygo Pop and Vernors and all that stuff, right here in the United States, making good money. But somebody got the big idea that, hey, we got to do better than we're supposed to be. We got to learn to be free, have free trade, free trade, and so everyone can be on. So what did they do? They started closing down the plants, and they started giving it to third world countries and places like China and Japan, who are now making cars and stuff. Other places around, I think in the Philippines they do make car parts, and in other places. But it put out a work mostly black men and a few Hispanics and women.
And after they closed the plants, they put drugs in the community.
They brought drugs into the community. And the black man, he went out looking for work and everything. This is back when a man could afford 2 cars. He would have an old car that he would drive to work, but he would leave the station wagon brand new to the wife and the kids, because she had to take them to school and all this other place. And then she would go out and get her hair done and go and do some grocery shopping and all that stuff. That's how it happened in my neighborhood anyway. And it was just, when I think about it, it was just such a beautiful time at that. I'm telling you, and it almost makes me emotional to look at what was, which could have been much better by now. But we have this country has taken steps back, way back, and it put the minorities out of work, And then what they did was they started giving jobs to the women, black women. They started giving them jobs in high-rise offices, you know, and all, making pretty good money. But her husband, he's still trying to look for something where he can make the money he was making at the plants. You know, and then they would get in arguments, and I'm not gonna get into that, but it didn't turn out right, and they knew that. They were trying to, Reagan administration and the, you got psychologists and stuff that got into their meetings and everything on how best to separate the black man and the black woman.
A lot of it is explained in Isaiah, the 3rd chapter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And so one thing led to another, and now look where we are now. They right back to killing our people. And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, something. We are under attack by this country in every way. Let me put it this way. Old nation not desired and most hated by all nations. Guess who they were talking about? Don't nobody care too much, nothing about us. They're already passing laws now on how, passing laws to keep the Asians safe. Making laws and giving LGBT a platform and making laws to keep them safe. They don't even know what the laws are in God's holy book. But we do. We know what it says in Leviticus. And I advise some of you who don't know nothing about Leviticus, go in there and read some of them. Because you know what? Yah's laws have not been done away with like they tell you in the New Testament. It was totally ridiculous. Who told Paul that the laws have been done away with? Who was he? Yah's laws have not been done away, and he tells you that. And he also tells you, my thoughts are not the thoughts of man. He's way, way, way above us in every way. So now, no matter how much they try to show their intelligence, they're not intelligent. They're just showing their stupidity. Just like they're doing now with this plague that's going on, that they call the virus. And don't know enough to know that it's Yah that is putting that virus out on the world. Look what's going on. I think I've said this last week. Look what's happening in India now. Over 4,000 or 5,000 people are losing their life every day.
And now the same strain that's in India is in the UK.
In the UK again. The 3rd time. And it probably wind up being here again until we learn our lesson. But you can't tell nothing to these stupid doctors and Dr. Fauci, who I had a little respect for until he started talking dumb and telling us, well, everybody now, it's like I don't even want to hear the news now, because that's all they talk about is people, we got to get the virus, we got to get the vaccine. Everybody's got to get the vaccine or keep wearing the mask. I'm going to keep wearing the mask, and I hope the rest of you do too. When you go out, make sure you got the mask on, no matter where you go, until you get back home, around people that you live with. Then it's okay. And I'll also bring you some disinfectants with you. Gloves if you have to, depending on where you're going.
That's right.
Use your brain, people. It didn't even take them a year to come talking about they got a cure for this thing. Who ever heard? I said, if that's the case, how come they don't have a cure for diabetes and glaucoma and high blood pressure and all that?
Right.
It's been, you know why? Because they're not interested in saving you. This whole thing is rigged up on people, the powers that be, to make more money off you and everything, so that you can turn around and be put in the ground, and that's gonna be it. But they're also going there too. But it shows you the sickness of what's going on. You know, people are losing their lives. You know, and But like we've told them, everything that Yah has put down here, like on the islands and stuff, like in the what's it called, the rainforest, there are plants. There are plants, rare plants and everything in these places that can cure us of a lot of what we got. But we don't know that. And these doctors don't know. They don't know enough to go out and check to find out.
Right. Let me ask you, BenYAH, there's been a lot of news about the state of Israel and the land of Israel, and the wars that's been going on with Israel and Gaza. Mm-hmm. What do you say about those things? You're an elder, you've been around, you've known longer than us that they've been fighting there for a long time.
For a long time.
And so what do you think that these current acts of violence are any more different than the past ones, or is it the same more of the same?
I think it's more of the same, and I think that the Israelis, for the most part, are probably causing the problems. Because, I'm going to go back to 1948 with them, and I'm going to show you, all of you, something. Mm-hmm. In 1948, they showed a documentary, and I was lucky enough to see it. Although I was much, I was younger, not in 1948, but they showed the documentary back in the 60s, I think it was. And I was just a young man. I was 19, and I saw it. And they showed these people on boats, looked like tugboats, and they were taking them. They said that this is unprecedented because the true Jews are returning home after being incarcerated abroad. And it says, and they just went on and everything, but they showed like four or five boats loads, of people, and they looked kind of like they were poor. And then when they said they're going home for the first time, so when they got to that part of the land over there in El Kabul land, the vice president of Egypt, I forget his name, but you can get it on your phones. I think it was Nassim or something like that. It was almost like a Arab name, but he was an Egyptian, and he met them. He says, "I didn't come to welcome you here." He said, "But I want to ask you this question: how is it that you left black but came back white?" Now that should have waken up a whole lot of people. I don't know why people just went right straight back to sleep. Wait a minute, what? You mean the people of that land was black? Oh yeah. And then he told him, he says, and not only that, he says, as long as you're here in this land, and this might answer your question as what you asked me about the fighting over there. He says, as long as you're in this land, there will be no peace for you here. You will never have peace in this land. And look what's going on.
That's deep.
Hello.
Hello, that's deep. Praise the mighty God.
Praise the mighty one of Israel.
And another thing, Elder BenYAH, before we go, we've been learning a lot. Our great Moreh Yeshaya has taught us the true signs, seasons, days, and years of the Yah and his calendar, and learning of how to number our days. And so a lot of people have been learning about purpose, and what kind of wisdom can you give to folks about finding their purpose in Yahweh, in doing, in answering the call that Yahweh has sent out?
This is what I recommend to you, you young brothers and sisters and older ones that are still looking for the truth. And I'm going to put it this way. You want to start off by, you should be seeking. If you don't know, how do I find out? Well, you get you the Holy Bible, and if you get one, make sure it's the King James original translated book. Not the New Testament. Now, I mean, not the new book, not the new King James or the standard, but the original. Because King James and the original took that writing out of the Hebrew Torah and the Tanakh. He took it out of Hebrew and put it in English and other languages around the world so that you guys could get those books, that is, the true Israel, so that they could wander in there and buy those books and read them. Read the Holy Scriptures. And I'll tell you right now, don't bother going to the book behind it, the New Testament. It is nothing but, that book is nothing but contradictions, lies, and deceit and transgressing of God's word. You want to get or find or get in touch with some of these brilliant mores, some of the teachers, and then they will tell you where you can find a sanctuary near you if you have any. But most of all, get the Holy Bible and just, if you need be, get in touch with us somehow so that we can guide you through it. But you want to read that book and the Holy Scriptures, that is, and you want to go through, like I like doing this. I tell folks, because I don't have time to go from the beginning. The beginning is sweet, it's beautiful, and it tells you who the true people are. As a matter of fact, that was an Israeli on one of the broadcasts on that dose with that thing called on the radio, on the phone, the Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. And he was talking to one of our standouts. Mm-hmm. And he is a standout. I don't know if you want me to mention his name, but he is showing up a standout, and he's great. But anyway, and they were talking, and Israeli was telling them, to make this short, he says, well, you know, we understand and we know now that you guys are our relatives. We know that. A lot of us are coming into the truth about it and everything, and you are. But what you have to understand, and what you all have to do, is give us a chance to read the Torah. He said, we want to get to know the Torah. We want to read it just like you have, and all, and like and then he said something about because like you, he said, we're Hebrew Israelites also. Okay, now that's when I call him my son, my grandson, because he is. But he said he had to leave, and so he didn't get finished. He wasn't finished talking, but I'm going to finish it. Because what I would have told him is this: listen, you're a Hebrew, yeah. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were Hebrews. You know, and so was Ishmael, and so was Esau. They were Hebrews. But where the Israelites come in is with Jacob. The 12 tribes of Israel, 12 sons and a daughter. And because Yah is the one that gave Jacob the call and made his people, you know, from his lineage and all, the holy people. Well, they were supposed to have been holy anyway, but we know what they did. But now we having a hard time. We got this long walk trying to get back, trying to get to our people, and you know, before it's too late, and changing some minds and turning some folks around. And it has nothing to do with our hindsight, what we believe. No, we go by what's in the Holy Scriptures. It's not our thoughts, it's God's thoughts. And that's what we go by, and that's what we stand by, because we're not going to take one step out of that out of the Holy Book when it comes to either debating or having a discussion, because that's when you get yourself in trouble, because you're allowing these folks to get you in books that has nothing to do with the Holy Bible, period. You got over 80,000 recorded books of versions of the Holy Book, which is ridiculous. But that's how all these people are. Our people were the first ones that got the commandments, the laws, statutes, and judgments. But we did not follow through with what Yah wanted our people, with what he wanted them to do, our ancestors. And I think about that often, and I get so upset sometimes. I be wondering, what in the world were they thinking about? They knew they had a living God that talked to them, that set them up to always be the head and never the tail. Well, guess what, family? We are the tail right now, the stinking tail. And we've been that way for over 400 years. It's time for us to wake up and get with it. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, if I have to sound tough, so be it. Because I love you and I want you to turn around and get with the teachers so that they can show you and go over some things. It's like in Exodus. Exodus chapter 32, Deuteronomy chapter 24. No one died for your sins. No one. And to make it even clear, if you really want to get to the point of the crust, then we go to Ezekiel chapter 18. Read the whole chapter. And Yah tells you, do you think I have, he says, do you think I have pleasure in destroying the wicked and evil? He said, I have no pleasure doing it. He said, I would rather see them turn around and follow my laws, follow my commandments. And don't leave, and I mean follow them, don't do nothing. We already know what the Roman Catholic Church did. If you look in their book, I forgot to tell you to bring, if you could look in their book real quick, and the first commandment they got, that has nothing to do with Yah. They don't have Yah saying, thou shalt have no other gods before me. They go around it. And then the Pope also took the fourth commandment out. And a lot of you don't know that. Some of you do, I'm sure. I pray more of you do. But the fourth commandment is keeping the Sabbath day holy. It is the Sabbath day. For God did all his work in 6 days, and the seventh day he rested. Now, when is the Sabbath day? It's the day after Friday and the day before Sunday. It is not, Sunday is not a holy day. But yet, our people and others are going to church on Sundays. See, there's a lot you folks don't know. Ooh. You know, and it's just, there's so many things, so many ways I can go in there and show you other things, and I'm pretty sure Maury will allow me to do it. This is not going to be my last day.
No, we're going to try to get with you as much as we can,
you know, but
elders in our community.
Yeah, because this is very important.
Yes,
you know, it really is. Like, but and he talks about our family Edomites, and that's and I would, you know, whoever the young man is, who knows, maybe he's listening on the telecast. I hope, because you are a Hebrew, son, but you are not an Israelite, because that came out of Jacob's seed.
Praise the mighty Yah. Well, yeah, Elder BenYAH, we're going to try to get to you as much as we can. They say when an elder dies, we lose a library. So we're trying to get with our elders before the Most High brings you back and hear the great wisdom and the understanding and the knowledge that you have for the people. And last week's broadcast, many people loved it. We got over 100 views on it. And so we're going to continue to hear what you got to say, and you know, they want to know what. And it's just I like hearing what you have to say, because you're an elder and you know more than me. You've been around longer than me, so your perspective is way richer than mine.